Thank you for being a part of P&T Show. I'm so delighted to have you as part of our tribe and community. Last year, 22nd September, we launched the most amazing show for parents and teenagers. Our focus with the show is to celebrate parenting and inspire teenagers. And so far, we've been on this journey and we have 11 fantastic episodes already. Let me see you in the comment section. Tell me how many of the episodes you have watched and what have you learned from the episode. We've had 11 incredible guests grace this stage of ours, and it's been so amazing to have these people, and it's been my humble opportunity to interview them one after the other, learning firsthand their experience as teenagers, their experience as parents, and it's been just one of the most rewarding experiences of mine for the year 2024. So let me ask you, how many of the episodes did you watch? Have you followed through? Did you watch all the episodes? What have been your learnings? What have been your take home from the episode? So the very first person we had on our P&T show was my mentor, Auntie Chinemema Umesaka. She is someone I love and respect so much, and someone that is well experienced in the teen mentoring industry. She's not just anyhow person. She was one time special advisor to Abia State Governor on teenage matters for 2 complete tenures, and she did amazing work in helping teenagers, mentoring, inspiring, and nurturing them all through. During her episode, she mentioned something very profound. She said that one of the things that parents need to do for their teenagers to even get them to open up to them is to provide an enabling environment, to not judge them, to provide an environment where the teenagers feel safe, feel seen, feel loved, so that they can be able to interact and rapport with the parents and eventually open up when there is need for. And she shared a story of her life, how she was sexually molested and how she walked through it all. You don't want to miss that episode. Go back to our YouTube channel after this video and watch it. You will be glad you did, because you're going to learn firsthand the entire story, and you're also going to get inspired by her own personal journey raising 3 fantastic teenagers herself. The second guest we had was Chemela Anosike, and oh my goodness, Chemela's episode was another bomb. You think you've seen it all with Chichi, but here we have Chemela Anosike, and she shared how low self-esteem almost ruined her life as a teenager. She was a plantain seller. She had skin reaction as a teenager. She came from a very low background, but today Chemela is one of the global citizens that you can think about when it comes to startups in Africa. She's been to numerous countries speaking and preaching the gospel of green technology. Chemela's episode is one of the episodes that you as a parent need to sit down with your teenager and watch and analyze and guide your teenager to pick the lessons from that episode and implement, because I'm very sure that if they do, they're going to see beyond the present and know that there is hope for the future, no matter what they're going through, no matter what the situation currently is. The next person we had on the show was Mrs. Chinyere Izu. Her episode was so mind-blowing. One of the things that she said in that episode was the fact that she doesn't believe in mentorship. I was going to quarrel her after that after that episode, but she actually balanced it out. It's her personal bias, but she also believed that people should be mentored. I mean, whereas she had her personal reservation, which I respect, by the way, she also said that she believes so much that mentorship can help teenagers to avoid certain mistakes, because, by the way, she herself has had to sign up her teenage younger siblings for mentorship, guide them, and all of that. So it goes to say that she, in a way, believes in mentorship, all right? And one of the significant things she said is that her parents, particularly her dad, will beat her if he sees her standing somewhere on the street with a guy, no matter what they're talking about. And he legit did it one of the times, and it was just so hilarious. I had a good laugh on that show. I remember it vividly. And she also shared how she's been able to build a social media agency from the knowledge that she grabbed as a teenager working with her mom. You want to see that episode as well, because you want to use it to challenge your teenager to get involved in personal development. I can go on and on talking about this episode, but I will leave the rest for you to watch it, especially if you've not. And if you have, you can watch it again and tell me what you think about that particular episode. Up next, we had Starlight on the show. Starlight John's story is such that got me really thinking and got me emotional. I mean, Starlight is a guest that I am very acquainted with. And I already know a part of her story, but then again, sharing it again on the show made me think again the fact that a lot of parents are living through the trauma that their own parents passed down to them, and they are consciously or unconsciously passing down that trauma to their own children. Her story is such a touching one that, in fact, after the story, I gave her a big warm bear hug because her story is such a touching one. In fact, I remember when we posted the video, we had someone from US reach out and he was really touched by that. He wanted to even intervene and get involved and all of that. And you know, the amazing thing about Starlight episode of P&T Show is the fact that she's such a young girl and she started hustling and working hard as a teenager because she needed to change the narrative. She needed to change the story. She worked so hard, learned so many skills, started working and building her brand that in her 22, she made her first 1 million and counting. That's not typical of someone coming from an abusive background. And I so much commend her for that. You want to look out for that episode. You want to watch it. You want to, again, look at it and see what lessons you can pick from that episode. Up next, we have Chedozie, whose session was just nothing short of wonderful. Chedozie is a phenomenal teens coach and teen mentor who is also given to the cause of helping teenagers navigate teenage years. And he's a friend, he's a colleague in the ministry, and we had that episode where he shared a lot about the works he does with parents and with teenagers, and it was so good having Chedozie on the show. One of the things that stood out for me in the episode was again how when he shared his typical example of the Lion King movie, right? How the Lion King movie is a reflection of the life of a lot of young people who has a lot of potential, who, have a lot of things that God has deposited in them, but are not aware. They lack self-identity. I think that's the exact word he used. They lack an awareness of their identity. And as a result of that, they go about doing things that belittles their identity, things that are, away from who they are, things that are not suitable to their identity. And he said that that's one of the things that makes teenagers fail because they do not know who they are. And you want to really watch that episode and see what it is that Chedozie is shared on that particular episode. And then while all these were going on, you guys were saying, oh, this is P&T show. We're only having adults and parents. Why don't we have a teenager also come on the show? And then boom, we had a teenager. We had a teenager come on the show, and we had Ayo, who is a mentee of mine. She was on the show, and Ayo is such a darling. She came on the show and she was able to share, again, her teenage journey, her experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly, lessons she has learned and all of that. Ayo is a fresh out of school student, and she's currently learning skills and getting ready for, high institution. And one of the things that she shared during her episode is the fact that while she was in secondary school, she made a decision not to get involved in intimate relationship with the opposite gender. The pressure was there, people were coming, and the fantasy and everything. She also had crushes, but she held herself from getting involved in a relationship with the opposite gender. And I really commend her for that, because we live in a world where a lot of things has been normalized, a lot of anomalies has been normalized, so that you see a girl of 12 years old and she's already talking about heartbreak, and you're like, girl, you're just 12. So when she shared that about her decision to stay, out of relationship with the opposite gender, it was really, 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 so commendable of her, and a lot more that she shared. She also shared something that she would want to change in her parents if she has a chance to do so. You want to check that episode and find out what it is. And away from that, we had on the show Dr. Uche. We had Dr. Uche come on the show. She's the founder of Health Right Medical Center, and she came on the show sharing a lot from the perspective of someone that has raised 3 teenagers and who is also a medical doctor. One of the outstanding things that Dr. Uche mentioned during that episode is the fact that teenagers need more length of exercise than adults. I never thought about that, because when she said it, I was like, Oh my God. I used to think that adults need more exercise because their bones are, cracking, their bones are already getting sore and all of that. But she said no, that because teenagers exert more energy, they use more energy, they run around more, they play more, they need more exercise. So if you're a teenager, you're thinking, oh, I don't need exercise, I'm fit and all of that. No, you're wrong. Dr. Uche said I should tell you that you need more exercise, even much more than adults. Okay, and one of the things that she also said, she really shared a lot. I mean, her episode was really, really so packed because, I mean, this is experience coming to bear. She has raised 3 amazing teenagers because they are schooling outside the country currently, but she also shared some of the rituals that she does with them as family rituals, family culture that she's trying to imbibe in them, things that she does, strategies that she uses to connect with them, and they were so practical, so relatable, and so on point. You want to watch the episode of Dr. Uche and see the lessons that you have to pick from there. And away from that, we had Dr. Didoyin Ajayi. Oh my goodness. Didoyin Ajayi is a certified therapist practicing in the United Kingdom, and she's currently raising an 8-year-old daughter. She shared how parents can help the mental health of their teenagers by doing certain things. She also shared how she herself is working through parenting in helping her 8-year-old girl, grow into a strong, vibrant, and disciplined, responsible girl. It was just so wonderful. She shared so much. In fact, I was tempted to say that her episode was my best, my favorite, but I don't know. What's your favorite show, by the way? What's your favorite show of all the episodes that we've shared? Which one stood out more for you? For me, Dr. Didoyin, she really came from that place of, practicality, and having the medical background also, did a lot in her communication. It made it really straight to the point. She addressed issues like social media addiction, mental health issue among teenagers and parents, and all of that. You really want to take a look at that episode again. Then we had Mercy. Mercy is another teenager that came on the show, and Mercy, just like Ayo, also shared her own teenage journey, sharing the things that she learned, how she was able to navigate teenage years. One of the things that Mercy said about her teenage experience, which she is, by the way, still undergoing, is that one time she looked at her face and she thought she was a witch. I was so surprised. Well, was I? For a moment I was, yes, to be very honest, because how do you look at yourself and think that you're a witch simply because you have acne, you have reactions on your face and all of that? And it goes to say that teenagers, I mean, for a moment I thought about that, but then I remembered again my own teenage experiences and the things that went on in my head. And I tried on the show to remind her that her face, irrespective of what has happened to her face or what is happening to her face, it doesn't reduce the fact that she is wonderfully made and beautifully made. It doesn't reduce the fact that she is who she is made in God's image, and that she is beautiful no matter who says otherwise. And that was the show. You want to watch out for that show, where she also shared some of the things that she would want to be improved in her own family system. I think she also shared her best moments as a girl, especially in their family. Next on the show, we had Coach Joy Essien. She is my friend, my colleague, partner in the ministry and all of that. She came on the show and she also shared, I think it was during the Christmas season, and she shared how parents can prepare their teenagers for the Christmas season. The Christmas season is often a time where, there is the razz in the atmosphere, everybody's in the celebration mood. But she shared specifically how parents can maximize Christmas season in connecting with their teenagers, so that we don't just get lost in just celebrating and traveling and leaving our children to just sort out themselves. She shared how specifically parents can connect with their teenagers, things that they can do, activities they can engage in to create beautiful memories that the teenagers can look back and cherish. Then the last episode so far is the episode of Emmanuel Agida. Emmanuel Agida is someone that I met. I think I met Emmanuel Agida 2 years ago during a TEDx program I went to speak at, and he happened to also be a speaker. Oh my God. When I met Emmanuel Agida, I said, where have you been? Because I really have been looking forward to real teenagers I can relate with. When I met Emmanuel Agida, I was so impressed with how far he has brought his life. Emmanuel Agida is someone that came from a very humble background, but he has worked himself to the top of the ladder of success because he was disciplined, he was intentional, and he had mentors that guided him all the way. He shared how, he was able to maximize the COVID-19 period when he was just 16, and how that experience was a springboard that took him to the point of being the very first teenage political appointee in Nigeria. Can you beat that? It shows that when you are committed to something, God has a way of aligning the universe to work in your favor. And that was a typical story of Emmanuel Agida. And today, he is the youngest ambassador of ECOWAS. He's a doctorate degree holder, even at the age of 20. And he's doing so incredibly well. He has a foundation that is running every year, reaching out to the less privileged. He has magazines that goes on every time and again. Emmanuel's episode is an assignment I want to give every teenager to watch. If you're a parent watching this, share Emmanuel's episode with your teenager. Let them watch that episode and get inspired by the story of a fellow teenager. So far, which is your favorite episode of P&T Show? Today is Friday, and it's another day to watch our P&T Show. But today, instead of bringing you yet another episode, we're bringing you a chronicle of all that we've done, the 11 power-packed episode that we have done so far. And I want to encourage you to go watch all of them. Drop your comment, drop your question, subscribe and share with your friends and family. Don't forget, when you're done with all of that, take your popcorn and have something chill to brush it down. I am Coach Precious Flores Ifani, your favorite host of P&T Show.